At Home with the Gamecocks, presented by Ford, and a treat for us. In this edition of At Home with the Gamecocks, we catch up with the former quarterback at Jacksonville State, Riley Green. I think he made the right choice there with the music career. Hey, first of all, different times. You're not able to tour and get out right now. I understand your turkey hunting has really improved during the pandemic. Is that true?
The turkeys have been in trouble around here. I've always enjoyed hunting and especially turkey hunting, but I can't think of the last time I had an entire season off, of any kind. And people are always asking, what's the busy season with music? And there's not one. I mean, it's constant. Obviously you got big festivals in the summer, but up north, we go play those shows where there's 4 foot of snow outside in Madison, Wisconsin. They just play them inside, So I've definitely, it's tough to not be out there, but I've enjoyed the break.
All right. I'm going way back here. I'm an old guy. Okay. Both my girls in school with you together, and you and my youngest one, Kelly, I guess from 4th grade on together. I got to thinking, they did a play at Old Keystone Elementary School here in Jacksonville. Oklahoma, as I recall, was the first production maybe. Were you involved in that? Is that where you got your start in all this?
I'm going to have to say that if I was, I blocked it out. That was one of those things that I would have not wanted to do. I didn't think that the choir was very cool back then, or very manly, I guess. But I can remember my mom telling me, so we didn't have Little League Pee Wee football in Jacksonville. When I was growing up, we had, Park and Recs, baseball and basketball and soccer. So I played soccer during football season because we didn't have it. So it really kind of hurt us a little bit because we were learning how to put our pads on. We got in 7th grade, and Alexandria and Sachs and Weaver and Welborn had all been playing for 4 or 5 years. But I can remember Mom telling me that if I would be in the Keystone Singers, she would let me play soccer. She would pay for my soccer or whatever. So that was the deal she paid me. I don't remember if I was in it or not, but if I was, I'm sure I was trying to hide in the back and sing real low. That's funny. I forgot all about that.
So all the credit for this goes to the Keystone Singers that got your itch for music, right?
The Keystone Singers. You know something about Keystone? I was my middle sister Casey has got 2 at Keystone, and I was in town. I was going to go eat lunch with Joe, so I get in the car, drive up there, and I'm like, man, there's nobody here. But it's Keystone moved down by the high school,
right?
But I haven't driven over there in 10 years. I got no reason to go back. So I was sitting there like about to walk in and try to figure out where everybody was at. But yeah, it's changed a little bit. I didn't even realize they built a whole other building over there.
All right, high school, quarterback at Jacksonville High School. You come to Jacksonville State. I go back, I guess it was the spring of 2007 before that Perilou guy came in. You were the only quarterback going into spring practice, were you not?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We had Skylar Ray had come back from UAB, and he was hurt. He hurt himself, and I think we had a wide receiver that stood in at the so we could scrimmage at the other quarterback. John Walker stood in. We had no quarterbacks. I mean, Matt Harden graduated. We had a couple of guys leave. So I remember going into 2 days. They were full up. I didn't get invited 2 days, and Max Sturman called me and said, hey, if you want to come as a tight end, we'll get you in 2 days. We had somebody leave. So I came in as a tight end, and obviously did not know blocking schemes. I've never pushed a sled in my life, so that was pretty miserable for a while. And, I went from doing absolutely nothing up there to being like the only guy we had to run scrimmages. So I can remember being in the calf trying to get people to write down plays on napkins and stuff for me so I could try to figure out at least a handful of plays. So when Coach Letzer and somebody asked me why I threw it to a certain person, I could have a better answer than he was open,
Coach Letson would never question anything, would he?
Yeah. No comment.
And I guess that was Adam Ross ended up, I guess, one of your first promoters, I'll call it, or whatever there. But that was where I guess you met Ross, was it not?
Yeah, Ross was a tight end coach. And my mom still says all the time, I can't believe y'all are friends because you hated him when I was up there. But, I mean, it was miserable. I weighed like 165 pounds and I was pushing a sled. They're watching film. I fell asleep in a film meeting one time with the tight ends. They were going over blocking schemes. And I'm just like, But I remember seeing a couple of the coaches at a show, and I was playing down in Anston or something, and they'd kind of pull their hat down real low and sneak in, and we got to be buddies. And yeah, I mean, we went on the road together for a long time, and he helped me out with a lot of stuff, helped me get my website set up and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So I can remember when he went to, maybe when him and Max went to Pell City,
right?
They would get the camera from their camp film room and bring it to my shows. And there's a bunch of videos on YouTube of me playing that were filmed on that little camera it's set up in the front. So yeah, he helped me out a bunch along the way.
I did not know that. All right, so let's go. Your college days, was that where your interest in music? I mean, seriously, where you really wanted to get into it at that point in time?
I would say so. I don't think I ever, even up until the last 2 or 3 years, thought that I'd have like a music career, song on the radio type career. But I would say that, early teens, 16, 17, 18, my granddaddy Buford was obviously a big country music fan. And we had this music hall out here in Pleasant Valley
Golden Saw.
The Golden Saw. And, it's still kind of going on. And that was just a thing where there was a bunch of older people out here playing country music, and I would just sit there and play along. And granddaddy might say, "Hey, man, I got $20 if you get up and sing a song," because I never liked to sing it. Never liked to hear myself sing. And they would clap because I was a kid, so I didn't have to be all that good. They were just like, "Oh, man." So I got a little false confidence from that. And then I played lead guitar in a band called Southern Harmony when I was at Jacksonville State. We play all the fraternity houses and Brothers and Pelhams and Sports Nut. And I started singing a little bit then. And then it went to, me writing some songs. And I would definitely say the rise of my music career was the fall of my football career, because me staying out all night in bars, I can remember going to Kennemer after playing a show and sleeping in my car and getting Justin Howard, somebody, one of the other tight ends, to knock on the window, wake me up to go in there and work out. I just sleep in my workout clothes. But it was rough trying to do both for sure. And I don't know that I've really mastered it yet.
Mama's probably happy because music's probably easier than that 325-pound lineman smashing your face or something.
Yeah, not as many injuries in the career I'm in now. A lot more days on the road. I would imagine I was on the road well over 300 days last year, So that's why this is such a crazy change for me, because I flew back from Madison when we found out the tour with Aldine was canceled, and I've been home ever since.
What's it like? What kind of thrill is it? Hear your song playing on the radio?
And it's one of those things that doesn't get old. I remember the first time I heard, there was this girl, my first single. I was coming back from a hunting trip in Georgia. One of those stations in Atlanta was really early to play it. And I was fortunate because I have toured so much down the Southeast that there were a lot of stations like out of Birmingham and Huntsville and Atlanta that were really wanting to brag because they played my song first. They knew me already. But what's crazy is when you go somewhere like Oregon, or Maryland, and they're not only playing your song on the radio, but you go play a show and there's 500 people and they're singing every word to it. That's just, it's you realize how big a deal radio still is, and that people still, that's the best way to get your song out there. Best way, it's just that snowball that I was trying to build by putting music out without a record deal was nothing compared to what it is when you got people playing your song on the radio.
Is there more of a rush, adrenaline-wise, throwing a touchdown pass, or in a concert and folks singing your song back to you that you wrote and recorded?
Well, I played a lot more concerts than I have thrown touchdown passes. I would have to say something more like forgetting the words at a concert. It's like throwing an interception in the end zone.
Okay.
I've always compared the getting on stage and 1,000 people, whatever it is, singing your song back to you. It feels that feeling of dunking a basketball or hitting a home run or scoring a touchdown. It's just that part doesn't get old. And with all the travel and because there's parts of it that are just like any other job. They're not fun, and it wears you out. But all that kind of gets made up for when you get on stage and get that to that moment.
It wasn't a great night weather-wise, but coming back last November and playing at Rudy Abbott Field, Jim Case Stadium, and a benefit for our baseball program. Even with the weather, it's a great crowd, great atmosphere. Was it nice to come back home and be able to do that?
Oh, I love that because, if I can book a concert in Jacksonville, I get to go to my house for like a day, which is awesome. That's why I was a fan of it just from the get-go. But, I saw it when we had the tornado come through, and obviously Randy Owen and them orchestrated that big concert,
Right.
later on in the year that we did at the football stadium. But I was wanting to do something as quick as I could, try to really more than raise money, try to get attention to it, because it was different for me. I was in town when we had that tornado that came through from Tuscaloosa several years ago. But for this past one, I was in Nashville. So I was watching it on TV, and I saw the damage on TV and all that. And that was when I realized how much you don't see. It didn't tell the story. And when I got in town, I was just blown away at how much damage there was. So what I wanted to do was do a concert and raise attention to how, because what you'll have is you'll have those people come in to help out for a week, 2 weeks, and then they got to get back to work. And it wasn't going to be – this university in town was not going to be back to normal in a week or 2 weeks, So we did that concert at Birmingham at the BJCC, and it sold out like that. We raised $50,000, whatever it was. And that was when I kind of saw, man, I can help out in a way that some people can't. And also in a way that's pretty enjoyable to me. It's not a whole lot of trouble for me to go play a show, So when I got the opportunity to do the benefit at the baseball stadium, we went and looked at the field. Ed Lett came over there and helped out a tremendous amount with, how we're going to set things up and doing the VIP and all that. And the field laid out perfect for it, which is another reason I wanted to do it there, because I think that'll be a great place for a show. And Coach Case, they took great care of us, and the baseball players. I think John Chevalier, who did the sound and lights, was bragging on how they took all the plywood and put out there and took off. And it's a lot of work to do something like that. That stage doesn't set itself up. So it was awesome to get to do it. But like you said, the crowd, weather could not have been worse. It's like cold rain, didn't stop raining the whole time. And the crowd was great. They didn't leave. They stayed the whole time. I don't know that I would have sat through that to see Elton John play. Like that was pretty special for the crowd to stay in there and watch me. And when they can see me, anytime. So that was pretty cool.
So music over football, you feel like you made the right choice there?
I'm 100% sure. I don't think I was going to make it to the Dallas Cowboys. That was what I told my mom I always wanted to do. So, but I talked to some kids. A lot of my fans are that high school going into college age, and talking to some of them that are talking about going to play ball or, even walking on somewhere, which is what I did at Jacksonville State. I wouldn't trade me going to do that for anything, because I've got friends from that I'll have the rest of my life. I don't know that I would have had the right work ethic from just high school, And not that I was accountable by any means, because I was late to meetings and late to class if I went. So, but I learned that there was a lot of things I had to do I wouldn't have otherwise, And like I said, even knowing that there wasn't anything coming from it long term, I would definitely say that a lot of my music career success has come from me playing football at Jacksonville State. And not only that, but, I wasn't all that good. These people were coming to see me play every week because they knew it was going to be a party. That's why they'd come watch me play. So I met a lot of people that would come to my shows from playing football.
Appreciate the time, man. By the way, like the hat. I'll wear my Riley Green hat next time we do this, okay?
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed about that.
Understand, show up at your house, you're doing marshmallow roasting in the front yard, that sort of thing, and people's tents in your front yard.
Oh yeah, Colin Cotton was going to come over and go hunting with me, and this is how much times have changed for me. I guess he pulls up, which he's pulled up several times to go hunt with me, and there's still been a party going on from the night before. People sleeping everywhere. He pulled up and he sees a tent in the front yard and smoke coming out of a fire pit and cars everywhere. And he said, well, Riley had a party. He's not going to make it. And he leaves. And I was in here fixing coffee. That was my niece and nephew out there camping in the yard. I'm an old person now, But he just turned around and left. That was hilarious.
Appreciate the time. Hopefully you get back out on the road soon. All this stuff we get through this pandemic and you get out there and start touring and playing your music again. Appreciate it, man. Best of luck. Good luck. Thanks, Riley.
Thank you, man.
At Home with the Gamecocks, presented by Ford. Thanks to Riley Green being our guest on this edition.